So the single most inspirational figure, and I think my all-time hero, is Nelson Mandela. He spent probably 26 years of his life in prison and was released in 1990, actually on February 11th, 1990, Black History Month. He then went on to become president of South Africa. He never ever gave up his beliefs. He spent 26 years in prison, making sure those kind of beliefs were followed through on, and then went on to live his dream. He also wrote my favorite quote of all time, which when I joined JWT 5 years ago, I read out to everybody, and so I'm going to read it out again for everyone. He said, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that's within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others."
You know, Black History Month is a celebration of Black culture and Black history. And as a Black man, I am living Black history and Black culture every day of my life.
Black history is a great subject for anyone.
Black history is my heritage.
This is actually the second year that I'm experiencing with Black History Month, and this is something that I didn't know until I come here, and this was a great surprise because in France we wouldn't have that.
We did some sort of Black History Month assembly in, I guess, second grade, and I was Frederick Douglass, and I stood up and read a thing about Frederick Douglass, and it felt strange to be pretending to be a prominent African-American leader as a 6-year-old white kid.
I went to a predominantly white high school.
Grew up in South Central LA.
Probably all the way through elementary school. I was in a predominantly Hispanic school, so I'd be like the only Black person in all of 5th grade.
There was clearly a sort of, demarcation between you and everyone else.
My family has always been surrounded with other races.
And my great-grandmother was a white woman living in the South, and she fell in love with my great-grandfather, who was an African-American man living in the South. They can't even sit together. There are places that they can't go together.
I lived in Montgomery, Alabama in 1965 when they had the big march, voting rights march.
Got to participate in some marches in Washington.
You know, my father was a member of the African National Congress in 1947, which was a banned party. He worked for the law firm that defended Mandela. I discovered afterwards that he had been to Robben Island. I have pictures of it, and I never knew about that. It was a secret life that he led.
The things you don't talk about are things that are bad to talk about, so what's so bad about race? So why not have a conversation about it? You can have differences, but you can have a dialogue about it.
Through the years, I've gotten, you don't sound, you don't act, you don't talk like a Black person. And that just opens up like, whoa, what is a Black person supposed to talk like? What are they supposed to act like? And I've gotten that from Black, white, Hispanic, everyone.
I was 17, almost 18 years old at the time, and had never really experienced anything like that before.
Yeah, you're white. Some people are like, no, you're obviously not white.
Every time that I'm going to a store or that I'm...
And that's when I first kind of dealt with the whole race thing.
You realize that everyone is not the same, and everyone's opinions are not the same, and that the separation is actually mean, because we're all people at the end of the day, we're all human beings.
I was sitting with my family and I said, they're not going to let him go. I thought they would shoot him. I thought anything would happen, except they'd let him go free. And that was probably one of the most emotional things I've ever watched.
Everyone here at JWT especially is of all different colors, all different backgrounds. I think we have some people here from Mars, but...
So I always gravitated to people that I had general stuff that I valued in common, and that's just my bank of my friends and the people that I associated with. So it was never race being the key driver there. It was always a lot deeper than that.
It's all about people.
I think that's what's great about J. Walter Thompson, JWT, is that we have, hundreds of different ethnicities here from different countries, and it's just we're able to kind of grow and learn more about each other based on everyone's kind of upbringing.
Here, When people are looking at me, they're looking at a person. They're not looking at a female, they're not looking at a black person. The only thing that matters is my potential, and it's not, you know, the color of my skin.
I'm part of the movement of just progress and enlightenment and also creativity.
All of the great African Americans in present day and in the past have all had tough skin and had to deal with a lot of obstacles in order to get ahead and really not take no as an answer. And that's the kind of life that I try to live every day.
You know, living my life and just showing people every day that all black people do not fit into this one crafted stereotype, I think that in itself is, you know, a small part of black history, you know, for those immediately around you.
Black history is about the movement toward being able to allow people to achieve what they want to love who they want, to work where they want without concern or worry that the color of their skin will prevent them from realizing happiness. That's my story.